Ladies and gentlemen, it's been Deputy again from Jagging and Company Associates. Today I've decided to digress away from financial reporting to the basics of Power BI. I want us to move together as we build into more complicated but easy to understand reports with Power BI. So if you check on my screen here, you can see I have section 1, what to know about Power BI. And then here I have a few questions that we need to answer. What is Power BI? What does it do? Why I use Power BI? Who uses Power BI? What are the versions of Power BI? Where do I start from with Power BI? So I've tried to explain, or rather given an explanation about Power BI as a business intelligence tool for analyzing data. And then when we talk about data, I mean facts or statistics collected together for analysis or reference. Then again, you can say Power BI is a collection of 4 major components, and these components are Power Query, Power Pivot, Power View, and Power Service. When we talk about Power Query, we mean a data collection tool, or rather data connection tool that allows you to clean data, and it exists in both Excel and Power BI Desktop. So I can give you an example of what Power Query does in Power BI Desktop. So just take you to Power BI Desktop. Then if you can check on my screen there, apparently there is no data that has been loaded into Power BI Desktop. So what I'll do here, just click on Get Data. And then since I'm using Excel workbook as my data source, I'll click on this Excel workbook. Then on my desktop, I'll pick the data file. Then open. Then within my data file, I have various tables. So let me just select the sales agent table. So let's assume the sales agent table, which has 2 columns. We need to transform it into one column. Rather, we need to transform into a table with a single column. So we want to match the name column and the ID column. So for me, instead of clicking load, we'll click transform. And transform will take us to Power Query editor, but within Power BI Desktop. Then now from here, if you check under the Home tab, there are various commands, and all these commands are used to transform, or rather to edit data from one form to the other. And again, if you click transform tab, you have quite a number of commands to use. You also have add column tab, you also have view, and you also have tools, and of course help. But in our case, we need to merge the 2 columns into one. So I'll click here on transform tab, then I'll highlight the 2 columns, or rather select the 2 columns, then I'll click merge. Then a window pops out that asks for a separator and renaming of the merged column. So when I click on this, when I click on this, or rather when I click on this window, it gives me on the separator window, it gives me various options to choose from. So I'll choose column, and then under the new column name option, I'll just leave it as merged. Then I'll click OK. When I click OK, you can see now I have a table with a single column merged, rather table with the initially 2 columns has been merged to a single column. When you check on my right hand side, we have properties, and we have also applied steps. So the steps down here are what we have applied until we reach the merge column. So we can always do away with the steps so that we can go back to our original table. So if I click here on this cross sign, I'll go back to my original table. So you can always undo the steps that you did initially when you are coming up to with the, rather when you are coming up with your final table. So you are merging the two columns. So let me just again select the two columns and then merge columns. I'll select column here, then I'll leave it as merged, then okay. Then from here again, now we need to load our data into Power BI desktop. So I'll click on Home tab, and then here I also have a command here for close and apply. So I'll click on close, apply. Then our merged column here, our table with the merged column here will be loaded into our Power BI desktop. So if I click on here on data view, then I click on this table here, you can see we have a table with a single column. So this is how Power Query works. So the Power Query editor works in this manner. You can use various commands to transform data from one form to the other. So let's go back to our questions. So again, I'm also saying again that Power BI has another component called Power Pivot, which models data. It's a data modeling tool and it models data. So when we talk about data modeling, we mean rather from business and logical perspective, we mean description and rather business. We mean this description of business entities and their relationships. So when I talk about entities, business entities, I mean those objects that we need to track data from, or those objects that we need to track their data. Like for example, let's say we have company A, and company A is doing sales of some products. So when it does sales, it must have customers and it must have products. And when it is serving products, it must have sourced some raw materials from some vendors so that they can be transformed and sold to customers. So vendors, products, and sales, those are objects. And the same objects are what we call entities. So the objects or entities, they never exist in isolation. We must create a relationship between those objects such that products will be connected with sales, and vendors as well will be connected with sales. So with the creation of the relationship is what we call the data modeling. So let me take you to Power Pivot within or let me show you how Power Pivot works in Power BI desktop. Now here again I need to load data into Power BI so that we can model the data set. So I'll click here on Get Data. Let me click on Excel workbook. Again I'll click on this data file, then open. So I'll choose two tables. I'll choose date and I will choose sales. Then I will load. Today I will not transform. I will choose load. So when I load, you can see on my right I have now three tables. So the three tables have various fields. So each table has various fields. But now I want to merge my date table. Rather, I want to model my date table with the sales table. Rather, create a relationship between my date table and the sales table. So that's where the data modeling comes in. So on my left, there's a model button. When I click it, gives a model view. So from here, I need to create the relationship between sales table and the date table, or I need to model the two tables so that I can have the model data. So here I have two tables, and then I have date table and sales table, and my date table is a dimension table, and my sales table is a fact table. So when I talk about fact table, I mean that table that is measurable and quantifiable. It is having those attributes that can be measured and then that can also be quantified. And of course, it also has descriptive attributes. When you talk about dimension table, you talk of that table that has attributes that are descriptive in nature. Like now, if you check my date table here, I have date, I have month name, I have month number. So these fields, or rather these attributes, are descriptive. So now we need to model our two tables. So within these two tables, or within each table as an entity, we must have a column with the primary key, such that each key can identify the record of each column within that table. Rather, can identify the row or the records of that table. So in the date table, our primary column here, or the primary column with primary keys here, will be the date. And when you go to sales table, or rather our fact table, our primary column here with the primary keys will also be the date column. So I want to create a relationship between of one to many from dimension table to fact table. So I'll drag my date here. I'll drag date and connect with the date with the sales table. So here it has created a relationship of one-to-one, but a relationship of one to many. So I'll right click on this connection and click on properties. Then I'll change the properties of that relationship. Because we need a cardinality of one to many, and cross filtering will come from the dimension table to the sales table. So here I will choose a relationship here of one to many or many to one, but a one to many. I'll click this one, then I'll choose a single, then I'll click OK. So you can see now the relationship has been changed into a cardinality of one to many, and cross filtering is being done from the dimension table to the sales table. So this is what we call data modeling. So we have two tables with data, and we modeled. So from here again, now we can do some reports with the modeled data. But I was just trying to show you what Power Pivot does with does in Power BI Desktop when modeling data. So let's move again to, rather let's move back to our questions. So again, we are being told here Power BI has another major component called Power View. And Power View that is a data visualization tool for interactive charts, graphics, maps, and other visualizations. So to explain this again, let me take you back to Power BI Desktop. So when we talk about visualizations, we are talking about this visualization pane Then from here you can build various reports using Power BI. If I click here, this one there is a data view, and here is a report view. But when you want to do some visuals with data that we've loaded in Power BI, we'll come here and we'll be interested in the visualization pin, of which here we'll click on. We have various chart icons that we can choose from. For example, here if I choose the stacked column chart, so we want to build a visual here of the stacked column chart. Then now I'll go to cells, but before then just see what happens. Let me undo. Okay, before I click on any icon here of visualizations, you can see under field, under field button, we only have values, and you have drill through, course report and all that. But when I click on this chart for stacked column chart, you can see now the various options that have been given down here from axis, legend, values, small multiples, tooltips, and all that. So let me just let's build some visual here with the stacked column chart. So I'll drag date, and let me use the date table. I'll drag date here and turn the axis. Then again I'll go to sales table and I'll drag values, units sold, under values. So you see here I have one column chart here. We can see it's a single column chart with the year called 2021, but let me just try to use months. So I'll cancel day and cancel quarter, then I'll cancel year. So now you can see we have January and February, and then this is just a simple column chart. But supposing you are building the actual stacked column chart, it means that we must put something here in the legend. So let's assume maybe we want to put something in the legend. Let me try to drag name and put here under the legend. See, the values are changing, but it's not a proper stacked column chart because of the data that we are using. But I was just trying to show you how we can build visuals with Power View. So let's get back to our questions again. So again, you are saying that Power BI desktop, rather Power BI is a collection of four major components, of which one of those components is Power Service. So after building our visuals, after using Power Query, using Power Pivot, and building visuals using Power View, so when you want to share your reports, so this is where Power Service comes in. But for you to use Power Service, you must have a pro license, such that when you share data, or rather when you share a report, whoever you are sharing your report to must also have a pro license to see the report that you are sharing. So that's the explanation of what is Power BI. So let's move on. What Power BI does. Power BI runs reports and gives insights based on a company data. Can be connected to a wide range of data sets. So from here, if I take you back to my Power BI, and then I click here, get data, you can see various data sources that we can get data from. So that's why you are being told Power BI can connect to various data sets. Then again, Power BI can build visuals generated, or rather visuals generated can be shared with other users. Yes, we share reports generated or visuals generated with other users using the Power BI service that just explained. Then Power BI help users understand what happened in the past, what's happening in the present, and what might happen in the future. So apparently we are in August. So Power BI can analyze the data of July or maybe June. You can as well analyze the data for August, and then the trends in the data in July, August can use to project what will happen in the future. So that's why we are saying it helps users understand what happened in the past, what is happening in the present, and what might happen in the future. So why use Power BI, or what are the benefits? So we have quite a number of benefits of using Power BI, but here we've just named a few. It can process large data quantity, which is very true. You can have a data with quite a number of rows, thousands of rows, but when you use Power BI, you can process all that data. Information can be visualized to make better sense of data. Like now, if we say, like now, the visual that you can view here, it's very easy to visualize. It's very easy to make sense of what your data is all about when you see the visuals. Now, this visual that we have here, let me add the values. I can add the values to this visual. So if I add the values, let me put the data labels on. So you can see here from the visual that January we have 0.63 million and February we had 0.55 million. So with the visuals, it's very easy to understand what is happening with your data, or it's very easy to do analysis within your data sets. Again, Power BI can be used for faster creation of reports. That is self-explanatory. Then again, we are saying keep KPI alerts easy to set up to keep users up to date. Let's assume today that you are working in sales department, and then you want to know the top selling products each and every day. You can custom your visuals and your data set in such a way that today, if there are changes in the top selling products, you can always see. Let's say maybe you are having 3 products are top selling today, and the next day there's another product that was in top 4 selling, but now it has gone to top 1 selling. It's very easy to custom your data sets and your visuals so that you can always see which product sells most at a particular day. And then now we are saying it's user friendly and allow easy navigation of spreadsheets. It's very user friendly, and this is self-explanatory when you use Power BI Desktop. It easily integrates with other business management tools like Office 365, SAP, and the rest. That is very much true and very much self-explanatory. It ensures safety of data for controls of accessibility within and outside the organization. So this comes in when you have a pro license. When you have a pro license and you want to share your data with the various with your colleagues, and then there are various levels. You can say that now you have a colleague which is at your colleague you in your organization, you're in the same level. But again, now you want also to share the same data with your CFO, or maybe your sales manager and all that. You can always choose controls such that you only want your CFO or your sales manager to see data that they are supposed to see. So when you have a pro license, it's very easy to control accessibility of your data within and outside the organization. So you have various Power BI versions. You have free version and paid versions. And free version, we have Power BI Desktop. It's very free. You just go online, then you download and install. Then you also have Power BI Mobile, which is also free. This one you can also just download online and then install on your phone as an app. And then we have the paid versions, of which these ones we are calling the online versions, and the other free versions are mostly the desktop version. So the online version of the paid version, we have Power BI Pro, we have Power BI Premium, we have Power BI Embedded, and then we have Power BI Report Server. So the Pro license is the one that I was trying to explain earlier. And then we are saying here the Pro license, paid per user license, needed to get access to advanced features and ability to share reports. So when you have a Pro license, you can share your reports through Power BI service, but it's only meant per user. It's being given per user license. And then we have Power BI Premium. So this one is meant for large businesses and enterprises. So when you have a large enterprise, you have a large business, and you feel that now the Pro license is not valid for you, you can go for Power BI Premium. And then now we also have the embedded version. The embedded version is just meant for those independent software vendors, such that they can use the Power BI to embed on their apps instead of building their own analytical features. They'll just embed in the Power BI service on their applications. Then again, now we have Power BI Report Server. So this one is when you need your own reports or visuals to be stored in your own server, then you'll go for this license. Again, in addition to this that we've explained here, you can just go online and see what are the versions of Power BI and what are the difference between the free and the paid versions. And then now we also have here, but this one I think we need to do in the next section, or rather in the next video, section 2, that now tells how to install Power BI. So guys, this one we'll do in the next video, and I hope we understood more about Power BI. And again, if you've not understood, again, you're always free to rerun the video. So thanks for watching, and please remember to subscribe. So this was just for this video. Let's meet on the next video.